Remember Star Wars Eclipse, the game that was announced almost 5 years ago at the Game Awards, made by controversial studio, to say the least, Quantic Dream, and we haven't seen anything official about it since its announcement? Yeah, well, it may not happen now because the developers have been going on strike in response to possible layoffs. This comes from French video game journalist website GameCult, and I'll link the article in my link tree in my bio. Quantic Dream, known for Heavy Rain, Detroit Become Human, and an extremely toxic work culture of racism and sexism, recently canceled their early access game Spellcasters Chronicles after just a few months of release, and is now considering laying off the entire 115-person team. Though the dev team working on Star Wars Eclipse are trying to save the jobs of these developers by going on strike, saying that they could be essential in releasing their game. However, studio leadership over at Quantic Dream believes that the developers' quote, passion and crunch will allow them to complete the game despite the labor shortage, and then they implemented overtime for the game sometime after announcing the layoffs. The strike is perfect timing though, as it was planned to coincide with a visit from Lucasfilm, who was visiting to check on the progress of the game, and the progress may not be great. The game seems to internally have gone through multiple delays due to a lack of vision and resources. One developer believes that if the layoffs go through, then Eclipse won't be able to be completed, with another saying, quote, David Cage, the studio president, keeps saying that Star Wars Eclipse is a particularly ambitious project, then he should give us the means to achieve those ambitions. But studio leadership, like President David Cage, is trying to guilt trip the developers to get back to work by saying if the game doesn't come out, then the studio will probably have to file for bankruptcy. The decision for layoffs is kind of odd, as parent company NetEase is not pushing for said layoffs and employees are trying to get in contact with them, but leadership isn't allowing it. However, not all is doom and gloom, as negotiations have started back up, and according to the video game union that represents these developers, the labor plan that involves these layoffs is actually illegal, and it's possible the French government could reject it and limit any possible damage. I'm going to be honest, I never thought this game was going to see the light of day, and not at the fault of the individual developers trying to make it happen, but with the history of the studio up until the point of announcement, showing nothing but a CGI trailer of, don't get me wrong, incredible but random visuals that was obviously meant as a hype up, hey, we're hiring for this game announcement, and then not seeing anything official ever since, the writing was on the wall. It was already kind of there when they were saying this game takes place during the High Republic era, and then those that worked on creating that era said they had no idea about this. I'd be completely fine with this game, and even looking forward to it, if they just got rid of the leadership, especially David Cage, because it's the leadership's fault. It's been a common occurrence lately in the gaming industry right now that leadership gets a slap on the wrist at most with a golden parachute, but it's the individual developers that get screwed over. Hopefully NetEase gets wind of this and actually does something, especially if reps from Lucasfilm were present doing these strikes.